Susul.
Welcome to Under the Plumbob, the podcast about all things related to the EA-Maxis series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made-up ones. Each episode we focus on several rotating themes, including building, gameplay, lore, and more. And today, Team Llama is here, represented by the dynamic duo of Roxy
and Caitlin. I'm doing a superhero pose in my chair.
Yes, you better. Point to the ceiling. Make the building levitate.
Okay. I did it.
Put on your cape, because Caitlin's definitely going to be our superhero today. We're talking about her favorite style of gameplay called rotational gameplay. Basically, we're going to go over what it is and how you do it.
And then some tips.
Random tips, random questions, and then we'll tell a bunch of stories probably. So I hope you're buckled up for a fun episode.
Yeah.
So what is rotational gameplay?
So it's pretty basic thing. It's literally just you play more than one household, and that's it in one save. That's the definition of rotational play. So it can, but the thing is, it can range. Like it's a rotational play if you're playing a legacy challenge, and then you switch to, I want to play the spare heir for a second. Technically, that's a rotational play. So there's a lot under this umbrella. Like another example is like a storyteller who's controlling multiple households for story purposes. Technically a rotational play. And then there's crazy people like myself who just want to control all the Sims in all the neighborhoods at all times. That's me.
You're just a control freak.
Yeah. In my main save. Yes, correct.
I thought I was a control freak, but then this happened.
And you were like, oh.
No, I'm not it.
I found a new limit.
So how do you do this? Well, in The Sims 4, you go to your options button it's in the upper right corner. You choose manage households, and you ask if you want to save or go to manage households. You can just do whatever. If you're worried about the game crashing, hit save. And then you're on the map screen, and you can click on any of the households that are already placed in the world. Or you can, there's like a manage households menu, and then like if you click the other tab, then you can see Sims that are in other neighborhoods or not in the world. Mm-hmm. So basically, you can get to almost anyone. This is a random thought, but I know there are a couple of households that came with cats and dogs that are just pets. I'm assuming you can't play those because you can't control pets in The Sims 4.
Yeah, you just kind of.
But they do show up.
See them. You can edit them.
I don't know what would happen. Yeah, I don't know what happened if you tried to click to play them. Excuse me. If you tried to click and play them, I don't think that would work. Unless you have the mod installed that lets you control pets. But even that, I don't know if that would let you control a household that was just a pet.
We are all Mayor Whiskers at all times. We will just be Mayor Whiskers.
You know what? In my MC Command Center, it's so funny. Mayor Whiskers keeps getting adopted by the land grabs.
Aww.
Or Johnny Zest. And it's like, he's just got this connection to the land grabs.
I like Johnny Zest. I feel like
situation.
I just made up in my head that the land grabs kicked him out. And then Johnny Zest was like, I got kicked out too, fam. Come over here. I'll shine your top.
Yeah. It's very cute. So do you want to talk about what rotational play has been like throughout the history of The Sims?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you've been doing it a long time.
For a while. So Sims 1, I don't have, because I was playing it in secret. I didn't because I was stealing my sister's game, and I wasn't supposed to be on the computer at night. So I was sneaking on after everyone went to bed, and then I'd play. So I don't have a lot of Sims 1. But Sims...
Yeah, I don't even know if you could do rotational in Sims 1.
Sims 2, though, was prime rotational playtime, because that's when genetics became involved, And legitimately, the reason I started playing this way is I wonder if I can make the entire town related by like generation, like how many generations of Pleasantville will I have to go? Pleasantview will it take to make everybody related? So it just like having like you're all gonna have one kid because I have to limit because there's not enough space. And so that's the reason I started playing because I wondered if I could do that. And so you have to, and I started lining up stuff, and it was easier in Sims 2 because it was easier to switch households in Sims 2. You just had to go back to the town and then you click on another thing. Sims 4, it took me a long time to figure out how to switch households in Sims 4 when I first got it because you have to go through like, if you go to manage worlds, you're still technically playing the household you're playing. And then you have to take a step out of there and then click another one. But in Sims 2, you just had to go back to the town menu and you were fine.
Yeah, that sounds easier. I never did rotational play in The Sims 2 because I didn't really realize that you were supposed to play the pre-made families. I just made my Sim self and was like,
here I go.
Here we go.
And I did it because it was just another way to play. I wanted to play all the storylines, and I didn't know how to do that. And I was trying to figure out a way I could play all the storylines, but still keep it up. So I had to make up. Okay, so once it's the day before the kid's birthday, then I'm gonna save the file, and then I'm gonna go to the next household. Because another large thing about rotational play is how many households and for how long you play each household, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Like, if you just want to play 2 households, play 2 households. If you want to be in a house for 3 days, be in a house for 3 days. That's your prerogative.
Yeah, some people stay until, like, the first child ages up into an adult. Some people will stay for multiple generations.
That's so long.
And I'm like, you guys are... How do you know you're rotating if you stay that long?
That's so long. You did because so in Sims, I'll continue with the thing because I was about to go into what I do for Sims 4, but it's for Sims 3. Part of the reason I had such anger towards that game when it came out was the story progression thing made it so hard to play a rotational style because part of rotational style is you're controlling them. You kind of have a plan, like you know what's going on. But if you leave a house and then they age up while you're gone, it's like, oh, I didn't get to do anything with. Shoot, now you're an adult, and I didn't get to play you since you were a child.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
I'm a runaway parent now. Like, I went to go get milk, and I never came back. And now you're grown up.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks to The Simpsons with the character on there, Martin, who's always like, my dad went out to get cigarettes. He'll be right back. Great. We've created a whole neighborhood of Martins.
But that, like...
I'm sorry. His name's not Martin. His name's Nelson. I'm the worst Simpson fan ever.
I was like...
Nelson. Martin's the nerd. Nelson's the abandoned child. Bully person.
You got this. You redeemed yourself. I'm proud of you.
I think Martin's the only one who Lisa's never hooked up with. I could be wrong, but I know she hooked up with Nelson, and I know she hooked up with Ralph. And of course, there's... this is not a Simpsons podcast. It sounds like Sims, but it's not.
It could be. You can make...
Simpsons.
Simpsons.
I think we talked about that last time, how I made The Simpsons.
And also, people who make this, they can look very weird if you try to make The Simpsons in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no yellow skin tone for them.
No. Okay. I did read online, like same vein as you were saying, that people didn't really like The Sims 3 for rotational play because The Sims go off and misbehave, as they said.
It was so hard.
So in The Sims 4, The Sims 4 is better for that game style because they just kind of sit there and don't do a whole lot.
If you turn aging off. Like, that was a question.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the setup. Yeah, Melissa, our fearless editor, asked us, do you turn aging on or off, and why?
And it's just because you want it off because you really don't want, like, part of the playing multiple households is you want to control, like, you have a mild plan for them. So if you don't want them to die or age up and you're not there for them in spirit. So you really want aging off ideally, but also it's your game if you do what you want.
Yeah. I guess with MC Command Center, you can have aging off, but if you have your settings set so that relationships still happen, you might have like a new baby. But I guess they won't age past baby until you play them.
Yeah, and also if you're in Sims 4, if your sim is pregnant when you leave, by the third sim day, they're still going to have the baby, even if you have aging off. And then they'll also name your baby without your permission, which is just rude.
Word to the wise, yeah. So don't abandon your pregnant sims if you care about the names of their children, unless you turn on the MC Command Center setting that lets you name children. I've never turned it on because I thought it might be too obtrusive.
You can,
but there is a setting.
You can edit it once they become a toddler too.
Yeah, that too. That's easier, I'm assuming. But I suppose it might be good to know that you could do that through mods.
And I didn't know this tidbit until we were researching this, and it makes a lot of sense for my rotational play in my main game. You're more likely to have twins if the game automatically, if you leave and your sim's pregnant, your sim's more likely to have twins at that time when they just...
I saw that and I was like, where's the data? Show me the data.
My rotational play is the data, because I was like, is this why I have 4 sets of twins in one generation? Like, my God.
That's wild. I wonder if MC Commander Center overrides that at all, because I feel like there are some sets of twins, but there don't seem to be so many.
I have so many twins.
I see a lot of singles.
Because I also use, because if you have get together, I started using the groups as a way to be like, okay, so all the children of this generation are going to be in one group, and then you're going to go play together just so you all know each other. And all the teenagers also have a group. The teenagers group I named Hooligans, and they meet at a coffee shop.
It's a club, yeah.
So they know each other, and so that way I can ship people. So I can be like, do I like you two together? Maybe. We'll figure this out. Maybe you'll just have a fling. I don't know.
I'm trying to just debate whether I should do a spoiler
for
another challenge I've been working on.
Spoil. If you don't like it,
spoil away.
Just go edit it out.
I think it's fine. We want to do the decade challenge at some point, but it's so involved. I would make clubs because I wanted to try to keep them paired up with the people I'd put in that are in the right period clothing. So yeah, I did that. And you should make sure you go in the settings and make sure the settings are what you like as far as life length. What do you call it? What's the length of life called?
Life length? That
my
sounds
brain is
right.
gone
sounds
away.
Not wrong.
Short, medium,
lifespan.
It sounds wrong to me. Span. So yeah, have your lifespan set. There are no rules for rotational play, whatever you prefer. And make sure you uncheck fill empty homes so that you don't have all the houses filled up with random people.
It's a bummer when you want to move your sim out and there's no space. Like there's no room.
Yeah. I've made that mistake in my rotational save, and when the time I finally unchecked it, almost all the houses in Willow Creek were filled, so I had to empty some of them out.
That's what
because I'm like, a single person doesn't need to be living in this 3-bedroom
giant home, and that's what when I first got MC when I first got MC Command Center. That's what I forgot. It auto filled the houses because I didn't even though I had the box unchecked. The mod filled them in, and I was like, no, I don't know who these people are. Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. And then you make sure you turn off auto aging for all the reasons we described. And you want to probably say aging for active household only, so that if you've gone in and as soon as you go in and play a family or maybe even just edit them in cast, they'll show up in your active households. And you wouldn't want them to accidentally age up.
And don't accept, if you get an invitation to somebody's birthday, don't go to that birthday because they'll age up at the birthday.
It's don't go to the birthday party. It's like a horror movie. The birthday
Everyone
party.
you know is aging and you aren't. I literally have like a pencil.
You shouldn't be aging if you have it aging off.
But if they invite you to a birthday party, they'll age up at the birthday party. So even if you left them like in the beginning of their life stage, the birthday party, they'll still age up. It's a bummer.
They shouldn't have birthday parties though. That's
rude.
Weird. That's freaking me out.
It's rude is what it is. It's disrespectful to the person who is controlling them is what it is.
I've only ever gotten invitations when I had the aging on for other Sims.
I've gotten it before. I'm literally, while I was saying that, I have a pencil in my hand and I'm like wagging it at my screen, like, don't do it.
Nah. Listen to teacher Caitlin.
There are mistakes I've made. Don't make my mistakes.
Do you want to talk about active careers?
Oh, yeah. So active careers are fun, but be careful when you leave your house. Because when you just like the timeline, because if you leave your active career, you didn't go with them this time, you just sent them by themselves, and then you leave, or you leave before they have to go, there's a slight chance that they could lower their job performance because you weren't doing enough work for their active career. So I always leave at like 6. I try to leave at like 6 o'clock in the morning so that like they're asleep and the household that I get to is also asleep. Because when you, in Sims 4, if you leave at a certain time, the time will be the exact, the weather, so the season and the time will be the exact same when you go to the next house. So if you leave at 6 a.m. in the summertime from the Goths and then you go into the roommate household, it'll be 6 a.m. during the summertime during that house too.
I was trying to switch around midnight, but that makes sense because whenever you switch to the household,
everyone's awake.
They're all awake.
Like, what do you
So I ended up having to fix their schedules for the first 2 days. So that's really smart. All right, 6 a.m. Gotta switch my...
The toddlers are always outside. Like, what are you guys doing?
Do you ever get the glitch when you travel back to your home lot or something and like random toddlers will show up at the same time as you and then disappear after a few seconds? Oh my God, that happens to me all the time. And I'm like, where are you supposed to be? And then they disappear. So it's like, okay.
How did you get
That's weird. Maybe that's like, it's kind of like Harry Potter and you're like traveling through the flu network and those are the toddlers that were traveling home from daycare and they just got lost. I don't know.
Why were they fluing by themselves? Lord. They shouldn't do that.
Daycare.
They had to walk into a fire. They shouldn't do that by themselves.
If you're worried about bills, don't, because your household doesn't accrue bills while you're gone. Mm-hmm. Similarly, they also don't accrue any income, I think, with the exception of like if they have a retail store.
Oh, do that?
So like if they have royalties won't accrue, but I think if they have a retail store, they might get a little money from that. I don't know about restaurants.
Fun fact, I haven't owned a business in Sims 4 yet.
Okay, next episode. That's definitely should go on our list. Well, I guess it will when we do our get to work review.
Yeah, because like for some, I don't know why, I just never did it.
I'm playing a challenge right now where you have to own a retail store your first generation. So it's been
your first generation?
But she also has to... Yeah, and she also has to complete a career. So it's like, when am I going to have time to run this freaking store? I don't want to hire employees because that'll cut into my income. So I just run it on the weekend.
I always have a hard time.
It's like her side gig.
Picking jobs for people who don't have a job specific aspiration. I'm always like, I don't know what I want you to do. I literally have D&D dice because for the most part, I like controlling my Sims, but I also really like them to, if I were in charge of their talents and what they would do, I know for a fact I would just accidentally be making the same kind of Sim over and over and over again. So I literally have like a D&D dice to be like, okay, you rolled a 4, so also it makes a cool noise. You rolled a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your aspiration. Traits, here's a D, like there's 4 sections of a trait. I'm gonna roll a 4 thing, and that's how it, like, just so I don't corner. I'm gonna, because I would end up being like, you're autistic, you like to paint and you're creative, and I would make the same artsy Sim the entire time. So like,
Yeah, I'd be like, genius, geek, computer whiz, done, everyone. No, wait.
Everybody's
Um,
making YouTubes.
so there's a couple of things you can do to randomize your Sims, which is helpful if you're doing any kind of legacy, like if you're going to have any kids, or if you're even going to age up your townies and you don't have a predetermined plan for them. There's a website called createarandomsim.com, and you can create randomly toddlers, children, young adults, teenagers, adults, even has lot traits. It's pretty cool if you don't want to like go through the trouble of figuring out your probability. Like I know on BuzzFeed multiplayer, Chelsea does like generate a random number between 1 and 38.
How does she know the number of the first time I saw that I was like, how does she just know the number of traits? Because I don't.
She probably wrote it down.
Probably.
And then like just refers to it whenever she has to do it.
Because I break them up
or a PA did it.
I break them up into like 4 sections. So I roll like a D4 and then I go to the whichever one that is, and then it's like, oh, there's 6. So I'm gonna roll a D6 and okay, that's what you want.
So I've for sure done that, because the one thing I don't like about Create a Random Sim is that, you know, you create a toddler, fine. You create a child, fine. You create you generate a teenager. It just gives you 2 new traits, and I'm like, but my child already had a trait.
Yeah.
So sometimes I will just do it randomly for 1 trait, or I'll just ignore. I'll tell myself, okay, I'm going to ignore the first trait or the second trait, but it's still like makes me anxious because I'm like, it's creating a totally new Sim. I don't like it.
It's not who they are anymore.
Yeah. I found a tool on Mod the Sims that also generates random Sims. I don't think I think it has the same issue where it just creates them as if they were like in casts, and they don't take into account aging up as it goes. And it's a little harder to use because you basically like unzip it and then you open it in a browser, but it's not actually a website. It's like a program almost.
Oh yeah, so
I don't know what you would call it.
It just overrides whatever it was before.
Yeah, and there's another one that's specifically for legacy, and it's a very detailed trait generator. You can
website never works for me.
I found it to be kind of buggy, even though I still have it bookmarked. So it's like, supposed to take into account the parents' traits.
Yeah, and I never remember what the parents' traits are when I get there, and I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, unless you're keeping a detailed spreadsheet of the parents' traits, which is a little extra. I think it's
I believe people do it.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I can see doing it, but I'm not that organized.
I have a Sims notebook now because of this podcast. I have Sims notebooks of like, well, this is going on here, and I need to do this. Like, I was like, I have a note, like just a notebook I've had forever. It's like, oh, good, spare paper. And now it's just filled with Sims stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I for sure start a file or a spreadsheet for almost every challenge I do, but I don't usually get down to the detail of traits. It's usually just notes, like my notes on my rotational play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so this podcast has also made me do a bunch of challenges that I'm like, this is not how I play, but let's give it a go. So now it's your turn to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is a lot. Not like in rotational play, you are more upset if somebody dies because you're like, you were supposed to. Oh, God damn it. You've ruined my plans. Okay. So this is probably the exact opposite of how you play. And I'm very interested to see how it went for you.
Yeah, I would definitely say it was a challenge to play this way. So I guess that's another thing you can do if you're looking for a new way to play and you haven't done rotational play. This is basically a different type of challenge. Well, I started in... Yeah, it never ends. It doesn't have its defined endpoint. I started in Willow Creek, as you do. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'm not going to live with these Maxis generated houses. I'm sorry, but they're terrible. So I would put in like,
They're fine, because I don't want to build new ones.
Well, I didn't have time to build new ones, so I went in the gallery and put in the name of the lot. So like the pancakes, they live on the Peak Hearth lot, and so I just put in a different version of the Peak Hearth. I made sure it had a child's room so that I could go on the gallery.
That's a good idea.
So when they released toddlers to The Sims 4, they created a toddler for the Pancakes family named Iggy Pancakes.
Oh.
And I have to credit Jane with telling me this because I didn't know, because I didn't play when they were, at the time they were released, toddlers. So you can just replace your original Pancakes family with this family that has Iggy Pancakes. And it's Under the Gallery by Maxis creator _01.
I just learned that right now because they had twins. Fun fact in my rotational play.
They've had twins in some of the games I've played too. So I just took them and was like, okay, what the hell are we going to do with ourselves? I ended up putting Eliza in the painting. She picked up painting as a hobby because she has the like mansion baron aspiration. And I was like, well, I'll just make my own paintings for the criteria for that aspiration.
Good.
And
so
that way
she
can contribute to her family and have something to do. Bob, is in the culinary track, so he joined that career.
Chefing it up.
Tried to give Iggy a good life. They decided to get bees because frickin' Seasons always wants you to get bees. And since Bob's a chef, I was like, he has a little herb garden. But the house still has 3 or 4 bedrooms, and the original house has like two separate bedrooms, and one's like feminine and one's like masculine. And Bob and Eliza,
to be like they live in separate bedrooms. Was that?
I think so. And they slept in separate bedrooms every single night I played them, except for one night where they had woohoo, and they slept in the same bed.
How very 50s of them.
I know. I was like, and I decided to get them pets. So they have a Cocker Spaniel named Lady and a Siamese cat named Siam, because I looked it up, and Lady and the Tramp, the Siamese cats were named Si and Am.
Cute.
Very creative Disney. Slow clap.
Actually, really, I watched that movie.
But they are cute.
I watched that movie sometime in college, and I was like, you know what? This is pretty charming. Like, I had seen it before, but not for a very long time. And I was like, I wish Cocker Spaniels actually look like that. Like, they're not normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
We're going to offend more people with our...
I tried to, get the coloring close to the movie and gave her the red collar or blue or whatever it is. I think it's blue.
What a pretty lady.
So, yeah. I decided to play each household for approximately the number of days equal to the number of Sims in the household.
Oh.
So I've played them twice, and so it's been 6 days, and Iggy just aged up to be a child.
Is he cute?
He's a boy.
Oh, is he cute?
I guess he's okay.
He's fine.
I don't have any particular feelings for him at the moment. I don't know why. He was kind of a cute toddler, but the problem with rotational play is that, okay, I did 3 days with them. Then I went off and did other families. Mm-hmm. When I came back, and this is a problem with cats and dogs, as soon as you come back to a household you haven't played, the pets are all sick.
Yeah, I hope that that needs to get it hasn't happened for a second, but for a long time, every time you get back, you're like, why is your nose red? Why are you freezing to death? It's the summer.
Why are you leaving puddles everywhere? It's awful. So that kind of monopolized part of the first day every time because I'd have to take them to the vet. So did not like it.
So did you just do 3 days in every house, or did you do if there was 4 people in the house, you did 4 days?
A number of people. So the Goths have done 8 days with them, and the Spencer Kim Lewis family have done.
There's so many people in that house.
Yeah, well, and I added to it, so I'm in the middle of doing them. I'll explain more, but do you want to tell us about the Pancakes destinies in your rotational play?
Yeah, so it did take me a second to figure out how long I wanted to stay in each house. That's the hardest part for me, is how long am I staying with each of these families? And it was once I got Seasons and that calendar came out, that calendar made it so much easier. Because
for sure.
I was like, maybe I'll try to do a sim month, but that was too long. That's way too long. Because
a month of being a full range of, what do you define a month?
Yeah, so it'd be because I have the 7 days for the season, so it'd be you'd go an entire, I guess, a sim year, but but that was too long. But I tried a week, and that was too short, because right when I felt like I was getting back in the groove with the family, and like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted you to do, and this is what I wanted. That felt too short, so I landed on 2 weeks. So you go through 2 Sundays, and then on Sunday at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, that's when I would switch. But in mine, the pancakes, I treated that other bedroom like a guest bedroom until they had their twins. He went in the culinary career, and I put her in the business tract because that way
Makes sense.
Like, so she could be like, I could see her as like a manager of like, I'm not taking any shit. So and by the time that they had their toddlers, like he was home during the day a lot because he worked at night. So
yeah, culinary.
They got to switch. So they didn't see each other a lot, but they were always there for their children. And they had a cat. I got them a kitty cat, which I can't remember the name of. But he was always sick until I think they fixed it. But for a while, every time it's like, why are you always sick, animals?
When I got my cat I used to have a cat, and when I got her from the shelter, she was sick when we first brought her home.
Oh.
Like she immediately got like runny nose, and sneeze, and I can't remember if she had a cough or not. Anyway, yeah, so we had to take her to the vet like right away.
Kitty.
But then she was better. So maybe it's realistic?
Maybe. Every time you come home, the cat is sick. And Spencer, Kim, they have so many bedrooms in that house. Like, there's so there's so much going on in that freaking house. But, like, Alice was in the painting career. I made, what's her husband's name?
Eric.
I made Eric a doctor.
Eric Lewis.
I made Eric Lewis a doctor. Because that was like, I want to try like these, because I played Sims 4 on my laptop, but then when that died, I got my PC on a back to school day sale, which is the best time to go. And
true.
So I had to restart, like I had to completely restart my rotational play on my new, because I wasn't it's too much work to like, bringing over all my files wasn't going to happen. So I restarted. So a lot of the stuff I was like, well, now I get to use like the active careers that I didn't get to use in the first time around.
Oh, right. So
now I get to be a little bit smarter about whatever I'm doing. But what's the daughter's name? I'm not prepared.
Alice? No, Alice is the wife. Well, we didn't even have to do this, but Ophelia, I think.
Ophelia, she grew up with...
Is it Ophelia?
No, that's the grandma.
It's Olivia. It's something. Olivia.
So
Olivia's the daughter, Vivian's the grandmother, and Dennis is the grandfather.
She grew up with... so she's an adult now? And she gets to... no, Vivian's the grandma.
Right.
Yeah, you said that. Sorry. But she grew up with so she's the romance trait that she wants to, not the soulmate one, the other one. And she's also
serial romantic.
And she's also in the music career. So it's like, all right. And for Sims 2, when I did rotational play, I did keep notes about which sim had the romantic traits and which sims didn't. So I was like, okay, you're going to marry other romantic sims and you're all going to just cheat on each other. And that's just how that's going to work out. Because I always would feel bad. I was like, this family sim is married. I was like, I don't want, like, if you're all going to cheat, you're all going to cheat on each other, because I feel very weird about, but like those sims, I probably won't make them get married, but they are going to procreate. So probably with other romance sims. I have weird rules.
Single mom life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to skip over some stuff because I'm also playtesting Slice of Life for our review.
Yeah, I'm not excited.
So I have to skip over things about that.
I'm not excited for that mod. Like everything I hear, I was like, I don't want them to go through what I have to go through every month. They're supposed to live an idealized life. They don't need this.
We're a spoiler alert, but we're going to do an episode on the Slice of Life mod. But the period part of it, and all parts of it, are compartmentalized, but that one especially, is compartmentalized so you can play without it. So when you download it, just delete the period mod, or maybe play with it for a couple days. But I deleted it because I didn't like the way it was written. But we can get into that when we do that episode very shortly.
They don't need
all the spoilers in this episode.
Like sneak peeks.
So yeah, Dennis, I think Dennis and Vivian in that household have like the family aspirations, but they're handicapped because they didn't get to be played while they were raising their kids.
Yeah, so there's like,
which kind of sucks. So they're like way behind the ball, even though they're elders. You almost like, I almost want to start a new save and like just have them live separately, age everybody down so they can raise their kids and then get them married. And I don't know.
So you guys can be better.
But then what do you do with Olivia? I don't know.
I did have them like, those two didn't really get jobs so they could raise Olivia. Yeah. I was like, so you two can go do.
Well, you can like, I guess I could just cheat up their aspirations so that they're at least halfway through, because they should have accomplished a lot more than what they have. That's one thing I hate about playing elders.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap.
It's like they come in, no skills, no points toward their aspiration. Good luck.
Unless they were like, they were working a lot and they didn't realize to let the.
Yeah. I actually have a challenge like that I want to do where you take an elder and you try to accomplish their aspiration before they die. That sounds like fun. And I already started doing it in another save. Because I start saves all the time. I'm like, oh, I have this idea. I'm going to start it and then never finish.
I had to cull my saves a while ago because I was like, I don't even know what this is. I don't know what I was trying to do with this one. And then because I didn't know you could rename the saves up until I think Vanity said it. And I was like, you can what now? And
oh my God, you guys. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry over to the actual files.
No.
So like when you're looking in your save folder, you still can't tell which is what. But actually, that's a fun story. I had been playing this rotation save, and then the patch came out, and I decided that like I was having too many issues, and like I went over to San Myshuno, but I didn't like the way things were going, so I deleted the save, and then I told Caitlin, I have regrets. I deleted my rotational save, and I had already gotten in like a good number of days, so she kind of like gave me the sad face, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go try to get it back, because I had backed up my saves before the patch. So I lost everything from the patch, but I hadn't really been happy with that part of it, so it's fine. So I went back and retrieved my save, and I was like, yay. The way I did it was I cleared out my save folder, like I put a backup copy, and then I, based on the date I played, guessed like which of the files was the one that I needed to restore from my old save folder. So then I opened up the game, the rotational save was there, and I was like, okay, so it's that file.
This one.
And then I just restored the rest of the saves, so I still have all my saves. It was a little scary, but it worked out.
And
so the funniest
I will say, like, sometimes because I play too many households. I do acknowledge that. But one problem is, though, because I was going to have Jade paired off with, is his name Sergio?
Yeah, sure.
I was in the...
Yeah, in Windenburg.
Yeah, Romeo. I was going to have those two paired off because I was like, that kind of makes sense. But like they were going to live separately because I was like, she's the one in charge of this relationship. So I was going to have them do it. Yeah. And like at a certain time, I was going to have them move into a house together. But then I thought about saving this for the fail episode, but it also makes sense here. Because he was fixing something. Like he was fixing an because there's so many electronics in that household that he shares with his buddy. And like, so he was fixing stuff and he got electrocuted. And I was like, crap. But it's still broken. So I had him go back. I had him just go right back in and fix it. So he died.
No.
He died. He got electrocuted again.
Don't do that.
And I was watching the Grim Reaper come and I was like, Jade's gonna be so upset. Like, what is she? Like, they were like, I had plans for them, and I don't know what she's gonna do now. And I just had her change careers because I was like, she can be an actress. That'll be fun for her. Like I had just she was making a positive change in her life, and then her boyfriend dies, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with? Oh no, what is she gonna do? I don't have another person lined up in case of death. And then he couldn't be saved, so he's just dead. And I was like, I have time before I go make it all the way back around to her. But I was like, I got to really think about what she's going to do.
And seeing that she can just channel it into her acting. It's method acting now.
Maybe she'll meet somebody on set. But I was like, oh no. All my my plans. But fun tip, if they get electrocuted, don't send them right back in to fix the thing that's broken. It will kill them.
Yep. And don't use the cursed lot trait if you're attached to your Sims, because that makes it happen more often.
But I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to have a mild plan for some people, just to be sure. You have to be well, I think that'll be fun for you to do this or that. And then stuff happens and you got to figure out how to well, there goes that plan. I got to figure something else out.
It's fun. Let's see. In my Spencer Kim Lewis house, Dennis adopted a dog because the house just wasn't full enough.
So big. That's a big
Well, I was kind of if I add more Sims, there's less likelihood of Alice getting pregnant, right? If we were maxed, she wouldn't be able to get pregnant at all. But they weren't quite maxed. So he got this dog named Luke. I haven't gone into cast, but I'm pretty sure he has 2 different colored eyes based on how he looks on this gameplay screen. He's just cute and troublesome. And the lady that delivered him was an elder. So I was like, oh, Dennis is interested. Meanwhile, my MC Command Center has a chance of getting pregnant from Woohoo. Oh. And by day 3, Alice was pregnant by surprise. Yeah. And I'm like, sure, okay. This is a thing that's happening.
Couple, why not? Go ahead, kids.
Yeah, it's fine. Eventually, Dennis was able to woo his girlfriend, Ava. They got married. Alice had a baby boy named Braxton, which I swear they had another auto-generated son named Braxton in another save I had. So I don't know if that's a thing or if it's just a coincidence.
Braxton every time.
Yeah, like I said, I just got back to them again because of reasons. And when I was in their house the last time, it was summer. And when I came back, it was the beginning of winter and everyone was freezing to death because the air conditioning was on. I was like, oh, maybe I will turn that off now.
I am happy they fixed that bug where the temperature thing would completely jack up their bills.
Oh yeah, that was pretty.
My goth awful. Family is not rich. They are barely making by now because of that. For the first time that happened, I was like, you guys are no longer heating this house. You're gonna just sit by the fire because oh my god.
Their bills are ridiculous. Because of course I played the goths and I've played them for 8 days. And this is the reason I switched over to the Spencer Kim Lewis actually was because Mortimer wrote a book named Good Night Alexander. He's the good knight of the, it's cute. And it was nominated for an award. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop playing them and make a note to come back and play them on Sundays to see if he wins the award. So that's where I am right now. But their bills are so
They also
high.
Had twins in my save. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How did you have so many twins?
Before, now I'm this is why I had so many twins because I'd leave while somebody's pregnant.
Oh, right.
And then they'd have twins.
That's so weird.
So many Sims. They had a boy and a girl, and the girl came, and I keep rolling for the serial romantic trait. I have at least 4 in the teenage generation. I was like, well, okay. You guys are just gonna, okay. No one's gonna be faithful to anybody.
Aw. I'm worried about all my married couples because the pancakes don't sleep together. Bella and Mortimer, they're very flirty and they've gotten together, they've woohooed a few times, but like he's just doesn't seem like he's that into her.
Which like is dumb. Look at her.
Yeah, like Mortimer never seems to have any whims about getting with Bella, and a lot of times she doesn't have any whims about him, so I'm kind of worried that they're not really in love, despite their full pink bar.
You're getting attached.
And
you're getting worried about their marital status. This is what rotational.
I'm just observing.
Rotational play does. It makes you like be like, okay,
yeah,
you guys need to.
Alice and Eric had a fight because she doesn't like his job, so I'm not sure if they're just going to try to have another baby to save their marriage or what. They're about to like lose the old people.
Yeah, it's so when the grandma died, when Vivian died, only Olivia was home. Like as the only person who was home.
Oh, that's so traumatic.
Reaper like stopped and like because she tried to save her, and the first time it worked. Like she died, and then Olivia saved her, and then she tried to come. Like, it happened again. And it didn't work the second. It doesn't work the second time. So, and like she was crying, and like then she complained to the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper just was like there and stayed and comforted her for a while. And I was like, oh my god, this is so touching. Also, good job, Grim Reaper, for not leaving the little girl alone with her dead grandma's tombstone. That's nice of you.
Aw, and yet she still grew up and was afraid to get married.
Commitment gets you dead. Not doing that.
I am not going to keep witnessing the death of my loved ones. Or she's just
doing, I'm living the life to the fullest because I've looked death in the eye. That's how I see it. She's just like,
could be.
Yeah, life's short. Live life how you want to.
I mean, it's entirely possible Sims would change their aspirations throughout their lives. I mean, it's entirely possible Sims would change their aspirations throughout their lives.
It's too easy to change your aspirations in Sims 4. Like part of me was annoyed when I first got it. I was like, oh, so you're like, I liked being stuck with it because it was, you had to achieve it before you changed it. But now you can just change it whenever. You're just like,
Caitlin's triggered. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was your trigger.
It's too easy to change things. I liked being stuck with some stuff that it was like, this was a choice you made. Good luck.
Well, be stuck with it. You don't have to acknowledge that it's changeable.
I pretend like it's not.
I usually don't change aspirations.
Unless
honestly.
they achieve them, then I'm like, okay, you get another one.
Yeah, then I feel like I have to, unless it's like a challenge and it's like, achieve this aspiration, max this career, blah, blah, blah. So then it's like, okay, it doesn't really necessitate, I feel like, changing aspirations.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only other family I played in this rotation was the BFF household.
They're fun.
And they were perfect because I started playing them basically when the patch came out. And so there are 3 freelancer career tracks, and there's 3 of them. So I put each of them on a career track. And let me tell you, there's a very varying levels of difficulty. So like I picked the ones that match them best. So Travis, obviously, he's already a techie. He took the IT freelancer track. And so he started off with a decent programming skill already. Liberty, she was a astronaut, but I was like, she actually wants to be an artist. She was just being an astronaut because she was smart and she was like space and probably trying to please her parents, but she really wants to be an artist.
My parents wanted this for me. This wasn't my life.
And I put in a really cool, like I've been putting in makeovers of all the lots in Willow Creek just to make sure I'm not getting bored. And the makeover of their house was pretty cool, except they still only have 1 bathroom, which is a major problem. But so she's the artist. And then Summer, I decided she was going to quit her job at the restaurant so she could eventually open her own restaurant. And while she's saving up for that, she's the writer freelancer. And the writing freelancers gigs are so easy.
The tech ones are hard.
They're so much easier than the other ones. So far, the artist freelancers gigs are the hardest for me because maybe it's because Liberty's skill isn't very high. Because it makes a huge difference, I think, because I've also got Eliza in the freelance art career, and her stuff is approved like right away. And she's at least painting 4. I think that makes a huge difference. But even with Travis, like part of the reason I deleted the save was because the first time I played him, he was trying to encrypt a file and got like an error or something, and so like it didn't work at all.
Yeah,
and that was annoying, even though he already had the skill. But then the second time I rebooted it and had him doing his gigs, they were going a little better. But still, it's the IT gigs. You just have to do so much work.
Yeah, it takes so long, and you have to like talk to the person who hired you every once in a while, and it's like, oh my god, just let them work.
Yeah,
because I had Summer married Don Lothario in mine.
No, Summer. That's not a good idea.
In my brain space, like, she's exciting enough to keep him interested, but he does cheat on her. And they have two boys. Liberty stayed an astronaut, and I have a rocket ship in her backyard.
Yay. She's got a big backyard. If she's still in the same house.
Because Travis went, Travis married Miko.
Travis, you mean Willow Creek's most eligible bachelor? All of my Sims end up with him.
He married Miko, and I forget who. It might have just been a random townie that Liberty married. But she is. She's just gonna.
She's more career focused.
Explore space, and she's the only one who could keep affording that house with only one other Sim living there. The rest of them didn't have jobs that they could afford the house on.
Makes sense. So did Summer and Dawn live in Oasis Springs?
They moved into Willow Creek. They lived into one of the open house. They've bumped around because like they keep having. I was like, you two will probably make good looking kids, so I want you to have 2 kids.
Yeah,
I bumped up because in Sims 1 they were allowed to have 1 kid because of population control and like limited housing. But in Sims, in Sims 2, I'm like, I think there's more room, so I think we're gonna let you guys have 2 kids. Because I just like seeing how genetics work. It's also why Sims 3 disappointed me, is because the genetics were messed up in that game. Literally, okay, so my Sim was pregnant, and then I had her change her hair, like, to pink or something. Like, she just dyed her hair a different color, and the kid came out with pink hair, and I was like, I rage quit, because I was like, are you kidding me?
That dye goes deep.
Like, I was like, I liked playing the game because of, like, the genetics. Like, so that was like, my brain just like melted. I was like, so genetics mean nothing in this? God.
Oh, can I complain real quick about GeekCon?
No.
So I went to GeekCon. No?
It's only I can complain about Sims 3. Go.
Oh, I'm not complaining about Sims 3. I'm complaining about Sims 4. So we're there.
Yeah, okay, fine. Bye.
But yeah, since Seasons, if you go to GeekCon and it happens to be raining, you're screwed.
Yeah, everything's broken.
Nothing's covered, so all the electronics break, and it pisses me off, and I want them to fix it.
Get these nerds a cover, for the love of God.
That's all. That's because I was like, everyone in that household is a geek except Summer, and I was like, we're gonna GeekCon. It's fucking raining.
I feel like Summer would just be like, that sounds fun, let's go.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's supposed to be like a love triangle, like the girls are both in love with Travis. So they had the welcome wagon come over because it was when I had more households filled by accident. So I let this one guy stay because he was like their age and kind of cute. And I was like, okay, so I'm trying to figure out if Liberty's going to go for him or Travis. And then I'll figure out if Summer and Travis have a thing or not.
Travis kept messing it up with Summer. That's why like, you ended up with, like, because I tried and like it just wasn't, like, he kept doing something. I don't know. He kept messing something up. And I was like, dude, okay, you lost her.
I remember in my cult challenge, Summer and Summer and Dawn were together for a while, and they would not agree to marry each other. Like, either he would reject her or she would reject him. And so I finally gave up and was like, all right, you two just need to separate. And then Dawn went off and broke up Brant and Brent. I'm sorry, they are too hot.
They in my game, so because I play through all of them, so it takes so long to go back to the beginning. But in my game, they ended up with 2 kids because I genetically engineered one, because now you can do that, which I love. And one of them got abducted. So they have an alien.
That happened.
And
there's like
twins, but they have 2 toddlers right now.
There's a Tumblr that has been doing like really nice Let's Plays of the different towny households, and that happened in her household. They have an alien toddler.
I'm excited to see how pretty those kids are going to be, because they're either going to be weird looking or gorgeous, because sometimes the faces don't meld well together. But they could be gorgeous, and I'm excited for it.
Cool. I think we've done a really good overview of rotational play. So, like, if you want to give it a spin, fire up your game, make a new save.
I feel like you liked it more than you thought you would.
I did. Well, I like it because it does feel like a challenge, and especially because I'm like, okay, you get 4 days in this household, and I try to, like, make the most of those days, and it kind of matches my, like, I need a lot of variety.
Yeah, because
so being able to jump around helps.
It's a chance to do, like, any kind of, like you won't just play a certain kind of person. You'll play, if you randomize your sim, you'll be playing a whole bunch of different types of sims. So it's a way to keep the game fresh and try out every aspect of the game in one save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of want to. I'm getting a feel like there's a bit of a vibe for each neighborhood, and I kind of want to play around with that. Like, Willow Creek's more of like your typical suburban story, playing out like lots of troubled marriages. Will they, won't they stay together? And then I think when I hop over to Oasis Springs, I'm going to see if I can get everybody sleeping with everybody.
So,
because that's just the vibe I get from that neighborhood.
So because the Calientes are kind of treated differently, like, I swear every game they're given different, like, that's Nina, and they're different than in Sims 2. And like for some reason in Sims 2 I felt worse for Nina than I did Dina. But in Sims 2, Nina's just kind of a money grabber, and Dina's not. Like, she doesn't have any personality. Like, she doesn't have any personality traits that, like, lead her to be who she was in Sims 2. So in this game, Nina married into the land grab family. Like, she waited till the youngest aged up and then married into that. But Dina married Johnny Zest because I ship them so hard. I don't know why, but they have they have 2 beautiful girls, and they're both just working real hard at their different career tracks, and they're just adorable. I was like, he makes her laugh and he treats her nice. That's all it is.
Well, that works. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to keep going with it, though. Now that I've resurrected my save from the dead, I feel like I owe them something.
I'm so happy that you were able to do that, because when you put that in there, I was like, in my brain, I was like, what would all my work would be gone. I'd have to restart again.
It'd be like PTSD, like with Melissa and her 100 baby save, where her first save died. I guess it didn't die, but she rage quit, and now she's like, I have to start over.
She got far, though, I feel like. Like, she got
about as far as I did, I think. Well, until I started up again. Like, I had gotten to 17 and kind of got stuck because I didn't want to watch my matriarch die.
No.
Then I forced myself past that, and then I was a little slow getting to know my new matriarch, but now we're kind of on a roll because I got a theme for her baby names.
I was reading it was on one of the many Facebook Sims group I'm a part of, and somebody was like, my new matriarch has the hates babies trait, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
That sounds like a fun challenge.
It's like, what a nightmare. She's just going to be upset.
Yeah, it does get too easy after a while. I think when this matriarch dies, my next one, I'm going to put her like somewhere really crappy with almost no money.
Oh.
Because I just need to challenge.
Well, it's like every once in a while, like through, like, because you'll have all the toddlers and then you'll be like clawing your eyes out, but then they'll all age up into children and teenagers, so you can literally just let them do whatever, and like you can't get pregnant anymore, so like for like 2 days, so like it's a breather. But then they age out and then it's all toddlers again. You're like, oh crap. Like
Well, I cheated a little bit because I have, this is like our 100 baby corner. Yeah. This is like, we might as well just say this is now our new segment, 100 baby corner.
It takes so long. It's like if we ever do a legacy challenge, it's just like checking in on my legacy. I'm on generation 3. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. I cheat a little bit because I always pick a child, like someone who fits a good, like personality to be the helper. So like I started with Cassandra Goth. So I'm doing 100 Goth babies. So they all have to have the last name Goth.
Nice.
Cassandra killed all of her spouses,
yeah.
her mates. Yeah, the Black Widow. But then I got tired of that. And the game was getting really hard to kill Sims. So it was like, I basically was like,
did you get that pop-up? It's a life simulator, so...
No, I think you only get that if you kill everyone in your household.
It's like, why?
But yeah, so Cassandra first had Bella helping her. So basically, instead of getting a nanny or a maid, which is against the rules anyway, I had Bella move in to help with the children, and she was trying to be a good influence on them. So it was like good versus evil. In the first generation, I gave the kids all the evil trait or the good trait, depending on how they turned out. And then when Bella died, I had one of Cassandra's daughters, Max, take over and be her helper. And so now they're both dead. And so I had, luckily my heir matriarch was a twin. So I just had her twin stay on to help.
Nice.
But right now I have 4 toddlers, and I literally spent all last night redesigning my house because everything, it was so glitchy. Nobody would do anything.
Oh.
So I was like, maybe there's just too many items on the lot or something. I don't know.
I would always have like, okay, so you now, you're a teenager, you're cooking everything now, so you can level that up. Since he's cooking, you're going to be repairing everything. The children will be cleaning. And if you're not doing one of those 3 things, then you are doing your homework. I swear to God.
But the lot was just like, it was just being so glitchy. So I literally moved them out, moved them back in, and had it unfurnished. So I like refurnished the whole thing, and I'm hoping it runs more smoothly now that it's kind of got maybe less, because I got it from the gallery and maybe there was just too much going on.
Do you think the Sims creators ever see what catches on as challenges and they're just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
For sure. I think they keep up with trends.
I'm sure they're just like, how did they figure out? I don't know.
Especially the marketing team probably, and like maybe some of the developers. But definitely the marketing probably keeps up with it, but they don't have as much interaction with the public.
Why did making 100 children take off? Why is this like, what are you guys doing?
Well, yeah, why does anything take off?
We've been morbid and weird since Sims 1, so maybe they don't question it anymore.
I'm seriously like kind of pissed off that it's so hard to kill Sims now. I'm taking a little breather.
Did you
doing other things? But
how hard is it to kill people in the vault? Like, the vault or that koi pond that you can fill with piranhas or sharks?
The vault worked once, and then I had a really hard time getting them in there. And then once they were in there, they've basically made it so starving someone who isn't in your household is almost impossible, because they literally will just reset. But part of that is when I did the 10 deaths challenge, this is like, now it's Death Corner with Roxy. Yeah. This is crazy. But when I did the 10 deaths challenge,
you did so good by letting Sims live their lives that we're going to reward you by talking about death.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't get it. I forgot to mention this when we recorded that episode, but my first death by hunger was a glutton sim. Like, it was supposed to be you find a sim with the glutton trait. Well, I put in Alex Moyer.
Oh yeah, you can.
Alex Moyer, turns out, since she's the pre-programmed roommate sim, that if you run the tutorial, she's your roommate, she's unkillable. So she just kept resetting her hunger automatically instead of starving to death. I got so mad.
And it's a good thing because you warned us in our chat to not do that.
Yeah.
Because when I was finally getting around to like, instead of writing books and I was finally like actually looking for Sims, I was like, oh good, I found one. And I was like, no, not you. You will not.
Yeah. And I don't even know if she would die of natural causes. I'm not sure.
Of old age? I don't know. Probably not.
Because I tried killing her through cheats, and it was like trying to kill Father Winter. It just didn't work.
Can't kill.
So then I found a new glutton sim and put him in, and turns out he was an alien, so that was fun. Ooh. He died. But with all the 10 deaths, you have to add them to your household, because if you just lock random Sims in your house, they don't really die anymore unless you put them in a pool. Like, they will drown, but starvation is really hard to get. And for a long time, cow plants don't kill people unless you're controlling them, because they won't eat anything past the first slice of cake. I'm just bitter. Oh, you can also poison them with pufferfish, and you can kill them with the rabbit rodent fever. So some things still work, but they take more effort, and it's like, I don't have time for that.
I just wanted to
and pools are just boring / traumatic, because the way they look in the pool is really upsetting.
You're like, I just wanted a quick death for my sim, but now you're making them suffer. It's rude.
Mm-hmm. And if you kill them with the MC Command Center, then, like, when they die, they just die. There's no fanfare. Like, Grim Reaper doesn't come. You don't get the urn.
Oh.
It's just no fun. I don't like it.
They're ignored by the Grim Reaper?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of cheating in principle. Like, there are definitely some cheats I use, but I don't like, a lot of times they're not as satisfying. Like that death cheat where it's like, they just die and nothing, you don't get the satisfaction. I'm such a psycho. I'm sorry. Let's talk about what we're doing next.
Oh, yeah.
So the next Cowplant episode, which will come at you next week, unless there's a social bunny in the way. It sounds really weird, like we're running down bunny songs. I don't know.
Run, bunnies,
but yeah,
run.
Occasionally our schedule is bumped by a social bunny episode, which is great because we're getting you the news as quickly as we can. But Cowplant's coming back, and we need you. Yes, you the person listening, you right there in your seat with your earbuds.
The one person.
You need to share your biggest game fails in The Sims. Any version of The Sims, any kind of fail, preferably humorous, but you can also share your tears. It's fine. We want to get as many listener submissions as we can to get your stories out there. Mm-hmm. And we'll share our own, of course, which, you're kind of used to hearing, but
we tried
you can go to Under the Plum.
Well.
Right. undertheplumbob.com, and there's a contact page, and it has our email address there, and you can just fill out the form and send us a message that way. Yeah. So do it right now. undertheplumbob.com. Go.
Right.
We'll wait.
You could probably just tweet at us too.
Yeah, it'll be easier though if you send it through that way. That way we won't have to grab things from so many different places. But we'll do our best to keep up.
And
all right, and Llama,
we're gonna come back with the ever popular lore episodes, and we'll be covering. Is it the pancakes? Is it the newbies? Well, both of them.
Let's just say keeping up with Bob, because he's the unifying factor, I suppose, in those families.
Yeah.
So you already know we're on social media. You're already listening, but are you following us? We're on Instagram and Twitter at PlumbobCast.
Plumbob Podcast on Reddit.
We're on Facebook and Tumblr as Under the Plumbob Podcast.
Our website is undertheplumbob.com, and our email is undertheplumbob.podcast@gmail.com.
So many P's, so many B's. Why?
What did we do when we made the podcast?
I don't know. I was all for don't delete the ladder. Or delete the ladder. I'm not sure. All right. So we also have Twitch and YouTube, and we're putting out content sporadically there. We try to put a little notice on Twitter when we're live on Twitch, and we post our YouTube videos once they're available. So you can find them through social media, but it's better if you follow us on Twitch or you subscribe on YouTube, because that would be really nice.
And you can subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, and more.
Yep. Any RSS podcast reader
should be there.
Has us. Find us. Listen. Subscribe.
Rate, review.
Tell your friends. As always, this is a team effort, and since this is our 30th episode, I thought we would do something a little different. Instead of doing shout-outs to our listeners, we would do a little section of shout-outs to our behind-the-scenes queens.
Yay!
Yeah, there's a good number of us that work to make this podcast happen on a weekly basis. So first up is Allie. She makes the beautiful music you hear on our intro and our outro and on our YouTube, and she designed our new logo, which you should see by now.
It's so cute.
It's got her name on it. It's very spiffy. And she really liked our episode, the very special episodes on diversity and mental health from earlier this year. And she also put in the like special intros for those episodes. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie. Second up is Caitlin J. Caitlin also spells her name the same way I do, so obviously we're best friends. And Caitlin is one of our researchers, and she helps around all she can, and we need all the help we can get to keep Cowplant on topic. Slight shade. That wasn't us, Cowplant.
Yeah, actually, I wrote that, so I should have read that. Sorry. Oh. I'm taking the credit for burning Cowplant. Come at me. You can't, because you're off topic on a tangent.
The Caitlins...
The Caitlins do not endorse. Actually, Caitlin thought that was pretty funny.
Did she?
Yeah. All right, so next up is Jen. Jen's a research queen, and she loves a good wiki. Or a wiki. Her favorite episodes are the lore episodes. So listener, she's got your backs. She loves to research them, and she loves to listen to them just like you do. Fun fact, Jen is a master of Name That Tune.
Number 4 up is Jessica. It takes a village of editors to put this show out every week, and Jessica delivers on her edits and has even guest hosted on occasion. She likes to hear all the different approaches to gameplay and challenges, so this should be right up Jessica's alley.
Yeah, I think she'll like this one. Let us know, Jessica, if you liked it. All right, Julia, we got 2 J's. We got 2 Caitlins and 2 J's, Julia and Jessica. Julia is definitely the reason we have a following in Sweden, because she's local. She's a diehard Sims 3 player, although I know she got Sims 4 recently, so I need to check in and see how that's going. It took her some time to warm up to it.
You're probably missing that color wheel.
Yeah, for sure. I miss it. She contributes to our social media and research, and her favorite episode is the one on fan fiction, episode 24. And she says it's hilarious. Thank you, Julia.
It's actually my favorite episode, too.
Yay. That was a really fun one to record. We got Vanity in. It's great.
And shout out to Crystal. She also helps with a lot of our research. Everything that comes together helps make these episodes work so well. Thank you so much, Crystal. Next is Nicole. Nicole is an editing queen. You can thank her for your regular supply of tangents. Her favorite episode is the Strangerville review, which she's in the middle of editing it and already saying it's her favorite, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Nicole. Great job.
Thank you, Nicole.
And last but not least, Rebecca. She serves up a lot of these fierce Monday makeovers that you see. Yeah. She's the driving force behind some of our cooler ones, like the new Sabrina series, and she
did a good Sabrina one.
She did. She does like all the pop culture stuff that I don't know. So like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and the Game of Thrones one coming up. So yeah, she loves CC, and she always offers up weekly research tidbits, as well as having co-hosted on some of our early episodes. So thank you, Rebecca. So thank you to all of our behind the scenes queens. We couldn't do this without you, and we're really appreciative. I'm very excited to have done 30 episodes and more to come.
Hey, you said 30 and I was like, we hit 30 already? Oh.
I know. Isn't that crazy? When I saw that, I was like, okay, we need to do something special.
And all of them deserve a shout out, because fully would not be happening without them.
And of course, all our regular hosts that you know and love. Is it time to go back to the real world?
I think so. I
think my children are calling.
Yeah, my cat has escaped from wherever she was at now. So
all right,
I must appease her.
Enjoy your weekends and enjoy your Wednesday when you're listening to this. And please share us far and wide, because we love making this podcast for you.
We really do.
Bye.
Bye.
Badish. Dag dag.
And our website is Under the Plumbob. Yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna do it again. Our website.
Baby butter, bought some butter.